Hello children, today we are going to introduce human reproductive system which consists of a male system and a female system. The male reproductive system consists of the following things. It consists of a pair of testes which are oval and pinkish structures and which are the primary sex organs and forms sperms. Testes are present in thin-walled scrotal sacs where the temperature is 2 degrees less than the body temperature. Inside testes, seminiferous tubules are present which give rise to sperms. Millions of sperms are produced by the testes. Sperms are very small in size. Each has a head, middle piece and tail. Sperm is a single cell structure. So testes are meant for producing what? They produce sperms which are single celled. The second part of male reproductive system is epididymis. This is elongated flattened structure formed of 6-meter long coiled tube which is attached to testes. The third part includes vasa deferentia. It is also 30 centimeter long narrow muscular tube which meets with the ejaculatory duct of seminal vesicle, prostate gland and Cowper's gland after uniting with the urinary duct to form urinogenital duct. The fourth part of human male reproductive system is penis. Penis is the cylindrical and erectile copulatory organ of male. Now let me draw the male reproductive system. This is a bladder. From this bladder arises these tubes. These are 2 testes present, and in the center of the testes, this is penis. Now this is what? This is bladder. This is testes. This is epididymis. This is a sperm duct. These are kidneys, plus it consists of some glands. This one is urethra. Now let us come to the female reproductive system. The female system consists of the following parts. First, it consists of a pair of ovaries which are small and which are the primary sex organs of females. Help in the formation of ovum, which is again a single-celled structure. Next part of the female reproductive system consists of fallopian tubes. Fallopian tubes are one pair around 12 centimeters in length and they conduct ovum from ovary to uterus. It is the site of fertilization. The fertilization takes place in fallopian tube only. The third part of female reproductive system is uterus. Uterus is a large hollow muscular pear-shaped organ. And it is the site for fetal growth during pregnancy and it takes part in the placenta formation. It has a broad main body and a narrow cervix. A narrow portion that is called as cervix region is present here. The fourth part of the female reproductive system is vagina. Vagina is long muscular tube which extends in the front of rectum from cervix to vestibule. It acts as a copulation canal. It is also called as a copulation or birth canal. The fifth part of female reproductive system consists of vulva. It forms the external genitalia of females. Now let me draw the female reproductive system. It looks like this. Here I am drawing the female reproductive system. These are two ovaries, and here this lower portion, it extends like this. Now let me label it. This part is called as a fallopian tube, which is a site of fertilization. This is called as ovary, which consists of ovum. This portion is called as the funnel of oviduct. This portion is called as the uterus, where the fetus gets implanted. This narrow portion is called as the cervix, narrow portion of uterus, and this portion is called as vagina. Ovary consists of ovum, which are again single celled. Now, this was all about the male and female reproductive system. Let us switch on to the gamete formation. Actually, the primary sex organs are responsible for production of gametes. Primary sex organs, they only produce gametes. In case of males, testes produce sperms which are haploid in number. In case of females, since the primary sex organs are ovaries, they produce ovum which are again haploid. So this was about the gamete formation. Now let us come to fertilization. The first step in the process of reproduction is the fusion of sperm. Fusion of sperm. Actually, it is not sperms, it is sperm. A single sperm, when it fuses with ovum, that fusion is called as fertilization, and it results in a diploid structure that is called as a zygote, which is diploid, and it is shown by 2N. During fertilization, the nuclei of the sperm and the egg fuse to form a single nucleus. This results in fertilized egg or zygote. Zygote can also be called as a fertilized egg. Now, this is about the fertilization. Let us come to the types of fertilization. Types of fertilization. Fertilization can be of two types. First, it can be internal or it can be external. Internal fertilization is the fertilization which occurs inside the female body. Inside the female body. On the other hand, external fertilization occurs outside the body of the female. Outside female's body. For internal fertilization, the common example is human beings. On the other hand, in case of external fertilization, the most common example is frogs, which lay eggs, and the eggs are fertilized outside the female's body. Now children, let us come to the process of formation of baby inside the womb, how baby develops. Formation of baby inside the womb, that is mother's uterus. Now by copulation, sperms are transferred to female vagina. That is the first step is copulation. In the copulation, there is a transfer of sperms in female vagina. Second step is fertilization. In fertilization, there is fusion of sperms with ovum to form zygote. Now, zygote will have mitotic divisions, which is also called as a equational division, and it forms a multicellular embryo. Multicellular embryo is formed. After the formation of multicellular embryo by cleavage, this is formed by the process of cleavage, that is divisions, mitotic divisions. They are also called as cleavage. After cleavage, zygote forms a multicellular hollow spherical stage that is called as blastula. Blastula is the single layered hollow spherical stage called blastula. Now this blastula will develop into a gastrula stage. The surface of blastula organ specific areas migrate to their predetermined positions. So there will be differentiation of the cells. Differentiation of the cells, which will lead to what? The specific areas migrate to their predetermined positions. Specific areas migrate to their predetermined positions, and this will lead to what? Gastrula stage. Gastrula stage, actually it is a 3-layered stage. After this, now 3 primary germ layers form specific organ systems. 3 germ layers form organ systems, and this process is called as morphogenesis or differentiation. Morphogenesis, or it can be called as differentiation. Now, this was all about the formation of baby inside the womb. The baby is formed inside the womb in this way. Next, let us discuss something about the placenta. Placenta, actually it is a physiological barrier. This physiological barrier, children, acts as an ultrafilter between the fetal blood and the maternal blood. Between the fetal blood and maternal blood. Basic structure of baby is generally formed during the first 3 months of pregnancy. During the first stage of development, from the moment of fertilization, developing baby is called as embryo. Developing baby is called as embryo, and 8th week onwards it is called as fetus. 8th week onwards it is called as fetus. Pregnancy is mainly maintained by progesterone hormone, so it is called as pregnancy hormone. Pregnancy hormone is the progesterone, as this is the only hormone which is responsible for maintenance of pregnancy. The last step of this process is parturition. Parturition, actually it is the expulsion of fully formed young one from the mother's uterus. Expulsion of fully formed young one from mother's uterus, that is parturition. The developing fetus secretes hormones from its adrenal gland which stimulate the release of birth hormone from mother's pituitary, and it causes labor pains which pushes the baby out of the uterus through vagina. After birth, umbilical cord is tied and then cut, which finally shrinks into a scar which is called as navel. So this was all about the parturition. Now the last thing that I want to discuss is, you might have heard about this, that is metamorphosis. Metamorphosis is the process of developmental changes by which a larva changes into an adult. Metamorphosis is found in invertebrates like butterflies, in which laid eggs hatch into caterpillars and they form cocoon, around them to form pupa, which by molting develop into adult forms. In vertebrates, metamorphosis takes place in frogs. The transformation of larva into an adult through drastic changes is metamorphosis, as I already told you. It occurs in the silkworm also. Let me show you the steps. Silkworm produces the egg. The egg develops into larva, or it can be called as caterpillar. This caterpillar develops into pupa. This was about the pupa, butterfly's metamorphosis. If I talk about this pupa will develop into what? Silkworm. Now if I talk about the frog, frog will lay what? Eggs. Eggs will develop into what? Larva. Larva will develop into adult. This was all about the metamorphosis. And for metamorphosis, hormones are responsible. For frog's metamorphosis, thyroxine hormone is responsible for the development of larva into an adult. Thank you, children.